Hey guys, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles! In the last two parts we tried to figure out what on the night of the murder of Kazuma actually happened. We figured out a lot of stuff, but we still are missing some pieces to the puzzle. And now, with the help of Herlock, of course, who's Sherlock? Whoever is that guy? Well, we're trying to figure out the last pieces to the puzzle. And for that, apparently we do have a last dance of deduction, maybe? I can't really tell because I don't really have that much of a clue now. But let's just get started and see where things lead us. So, Mr. Naruhodo, your assistance if you please. With what exactly, Mr. Sholmes? With observation, my dear fellow, just as I said, of these two prevaricators. I don't know that word. Observation? If you remember, Mr. Naruhodo, we know that somebody tried to fabricate evidence, don't we? By tampering with the scene of Mr. Asugi's death. What we're looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two was there when it happened. Precisely. You are delightfully quick to grasp my meaning. Alright, I'll see what I can see. So we're looking for a trace of evidence that shows someone else was there last night when Kazuma died. Ah, okay, so it's not a dance of deduction, but more... Aha, okay, we already figured this out, so it was the sailor. But can we still... Chunky arms? Let's have a look at the chunky arms then, right? We wanna see all the dialogue, don't we? He has arms like tree trunks, doesn't he? Hairy tree trunks. Yes, he certainly has sailor's arms. He's a born man of the sea. Even if I had been awake, I couldn't have done anything about being dragged out of what wardrobe this man. Naruhodo-san, are you alright? You seem to be lost in thought. Oh, sorry. Blame those hairy tree trunks. Oh, okay. Hairy tree trunks. Is there anything... we can... Sailor's hat. Have you noticed something significant about Seaman Stroganov's hat? Oh no, sadly not. I was just thinking that if only we'd found it in Kazuma's cabin, it would be all so easy. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. A hat dropped at the scene would have been very conclusive evidence. Ah, that's a point. I'm sure I saw a university uniform that had at the scene somewhere. That is not a point. At least not one I'd like you to make. Yeah. Chunky arms, we had those already. Does she deliver anything? Doesn't seem that way. No, it doesn't seem that way, so let's talk about the ink stain first and then present it. Oh, look at this! It's some kind of stain in an unusual place. Yes, you're right. It looks like ink if I'm not mistaken. Ink. And look at the color too. It's clear where this came from. So, let's present that then.
Yes!
Seaman Stroganov. You seem to have quite a large purple stain on the back of your white uniform there. Huh? Ah, yes, I am. I don't know where the dirt comes from.
So nothing in particular comes to mind about the stain?
What are you trying to say?
It would appear that the significance of this stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Allow us to make it plain.
It's a very large purple stain on the back of Seaman Stroganov's uniform. And I think what made it is clear. What made it is clear.
Indeed it is. So, Mr. Naruhodo, present the evidence that proves it.
My pleasure. Alright then, the evidence that proves what the stain on the back of Seaman Straganov's uniform really is of course... Can we see it here? Where is it? Oh, okay. Then it's maybe not that easy. It must be this. I'm just gonna present the crime scene photograph. In purple ink it says also, so let's go. The crime scene photograph. Yes, it's the photograph and the ink it shows. That's what caused the stain on your uniform. Ink?
A rather unusual color of ink, purple.
Oh!
Ah, the penny drops. At last. Now you see the significance.
The Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. And the stain on the back of your uniform is ink of exactly the same color.
If the ink had been dry, it couldn't possibly have stained your uniform that way. Which means... you must have been present in the cabin. In the moments immediately after the ink was spilled.
Alright, yes. It was me. I did it. Everything. I arranged everything in that student's cabin to make it look like Wardrobe Man did it. Then I pressed button to make Burya do emergency stop and bolt cabin door shut. I did everything so no one would suspect our angel.
Biff, please.
Don't worry, Angel. Let me do talking. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty, patrolling passageway. Then our angel came to me. She was white like sheet.
Biff, please, you must help me.
I went with her. The door to cabin number 1 was open. When I looked inside, I saw student boy on floor. What happened here?
Please, don't tell anyone. My little one, our little furry friend.
Everything that happened in cabin is like Angel told you. The kitten escaped through the ventilator into Mr. Asogi's cabin. Then he tripped over it and broke his neck when he fell onto the floor? Yes, that is right. So after the incident when the cat ran away, Miss Pavlova then visited the cabin next to hers?
Only to find its occupant lying lifeless on the floor.
She said she was worried when she heard sound of something falling on floor. That's when she went to look. No, Angel? The door was not locked. She has opened to look, and you already know what happened after.
There's just one thing, if you wouldn't mind.
But
When you went to Mr. Asogi's cabin, Miss Pavlova, was he already dead? Why?
I already told you. When Nina opened door of student's cabin,
I was asking Miss Pavlova.
well, Miss Pavlova,
Duh. Oh. Yes, that is right. I saw him. It was dark, and he was wearing black, but he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I understand, and I believe you.
So is that finally it now? Have we discovered the real truth about Kazuma's death at last?
Ah! Something very nearly slipped my mind.
Yeah, it can't be that. There has to be something. Oh, Mr. Sholmes?
This photograph. Yes, I took this myself, you know. The cause of death was a broken neck. Therefore, the victim died instantly. And the unfortunate incident that precipitated these events, a kitten on which the victim stumbled. However, if those are the facts, there is one particular area in the photograph that seems to be somewhat unnatural.
What do you mean, unnatural?
What are your thoughts on the matter, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well... what is he talking about? If Kazuma tripped and fell, and by some terrible stroke of bad luck broke his neck, which part of this photographic print seems unnatural? That's a good question. It can't be the writing, right? So what's so unnatural about this? Is it the head? Is it... No. This has been set up by Stregonov afterwards. Is it his head? Which part of this? I'm gonna try with... Let's go with his finger, because that's definitely unnatural.
Yes!
Okay, so this word in Russian clearly wasn't written by Kazuma. So if you're looking for something unnatural, that's the obvious point.
Very true. It is certainly peculiar, but it's not what I meant by unnatural, I'm afraid. What particularly crass detail was orchestrated by the culprit? I mean to identify another point.
Yeah, that was obvious.
Oh, I see. Imagine, if you will, losing your footing yourself. In my opinion, if you landed as the victim appears to have done, it would be most unnatural. I'm sure you really reached the same conclusion.
How thoughtful you are, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you for your gentle guidance.
So it's his head then. Must be his head then. Because if he falls and trips, must be his head then.
Yes!
It must be here, surely! No, it's not.
Allow me to offer you a piece of advice regarding the pursuit of detection, my dear fellow. When noting a crucial point, it can be helpful to keep your eyes open.
They were open.
And it can be equally helpful to use them.
Sorry, I'll try that.
I think it's plain what Mr. Sholmes means by unnatural, isn't it? The word written in the foreign language underneath his fingertip, surely.
That particular crass detail was orchestrated by the culprit. No, I mean to identify another point. Imagine, if you will, losing your footing yourself. Would you land as the victim has? What of your hands?
Okay, so it is actually the left hand.
Now you look now, this should be an easy task.
Why do I? Okay, so it is. So it is this. But...
Yes! Alright, if you really fell due to
an unfortunate accident, then his fist just doesn't seem quite right.
The exact same thought occurred to me. In a fall, one's instinct is to open the palms flat.
That's true, okay, I didn't think about that.
Yet here we see the victim with his left hand tightly balled into a fist. almost, you might say. As though you were gripping something.
What do you mean?
Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago.
You did?
And what, pray, do you imagine I found there, my dear fellow?
Mr. Sholmes, show us, please.
Why, of course, my dear madame. Madam, would I keep you in suspense? This is what I found.
Oh, okay. We already knew through the dance of deduction that the right earring, or from her perspective, the right earring is missing. So,
Oh, a crescent moon with a little gemstone in the middle.
Yes, you're right. A crescent moon. It's very pretty, but what does it tell us? It tells us nothing. I'm not so sure. That crescent moon looks familiar somehow. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere before.
Observation, Mr. Naruto. That is the key.
What?
The truth is now tantalizingly close.
How did that crescent moon come to be in Kazuma's clenched fist?
This is the final clue, the last piece of the puzzle. Ask yourself, what does this little crescent moon mean? What significance has it? And observe, find the answer with your own eyes.
Yeah, we already knew that. We already know that it must be the right ear. If we check the left ear first, which we can do apparently, so we can't. We already talked about that. I'm just gonna check the sailor's head. Oh no, I don't think it can tell us much. I was just practicing my observation.
Well, I don't imagine we're going to find anything to do with the crescent moon under it now, do you?
No, you're right. Let's look elsewhere. Okay, cool. Can we... What about the chunky arms then? I want to have all the dialogue. He has arms like tree trunks, doesn't he? Hairy tree trunks.
Yes, he certainly has sailor's arms. He's a born man of the sea.
But it's hard to see how they could be anything to do with that little crescent moon.
Sometimes things are relevant in ways that it's hard to imagine. Perhaps you should check.
No, these are just tree trunks, nothing more. We should be looking elsewhere, I think. Okay, so we know about that already. Can we observe the ink stain once more? We could. Okay, so let's do that. So you got hit this from the ink that was split on the floor.
Yes, presumably when he was trying to arrange this scene to incriminate you.
Did you see his face when I pointed it out before? He turned this color himself. He was so angry.
If he had really turned this color, I think he would have been ill, not angry.
Well, anyway, I don't think this is relevant here. Oh, really? Okay. So, wanna talk about the left ear first then?
See how she has such petite ears among that beautiful hair, like little pink shells.
Oh, what's that? There's something dangling down from her ear.
Yes, that's an earring. Wait, look! It's a crescent moon!
There can be no doubt now, surely. Okay, so this is what we have to present. What if we check this out too?
She has such petite ears though, among that beautiful little light little pink shells.
Oh, what's that? There's something attached to her ear.
I expect that's what called an earring. It's a little piece of jewelry.
An earring, is it? It really is tiny. Part of it is missing, maybe broke off. If that's the case, she doesn't appear to have noticed that it's broken. Okay, I'm gonna present the right ear.
Yes!
Miss Pavlova, I noticed that on your ear, even though you have a metal earring, the decorative part of it seems to be missing. The little link holding it on must have broken, I suppose. What? But looking at your other ear, I notice a crescent moon.
Oh, I don't believe it.
Now, the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Clearly, there's only one logical conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes. Miss Pavlova, Mr. Asogi must have grabbed that crescent moon and pulled it from your ear. Perhaps just moments before he fell to the floor. In other words, last night in Mr. Asogi's cabin you witnessed the moment when the victim fell with your own eyes. In fact, you were quite literally at arm's length from him. But then the question is, why did Mr. Asogi do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear and hold it in his clenched fist during his final moments?
Oh no!
Angel?
No one can protect you now. Please, Miss Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night, what did you do to Kazuma?
Ah! Нет!
Aha.
When I think about everything that happened yesterday, it was too much. Running away, the fishing boat in the middle of the night, trying to climb onto this huge ship. And then, when I was at last in this cabin and could relax after this horrible long day. Darko, wait! I couldn't believe it when she disappeared through the ventilator. I tried to call her with a little whistle. I tried waving her favorite toy. But nothing worked. Darko would not come back. What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine.
The young man from your country. He was very polite and kind. He helped me to find Darko, and he promised not to tell anyone. But then, when I had my friend in my arms again, and I was going to leave the man's cabin... Just a moment. Sorry, but... Oh, yes?
I'm sure I know your face. I've seen you somewhere before.
Ah!
Ah, of course. You're Nikolina Pavlova, aren't you? The Russian ballerina.
Huh? No, I don't know that name. My heart nearly stopped when he said that. He knew who I was. How could this man from a land in the far away east know a Russian ballerina?
Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. The beauty of the ballet made a deep impression on me. But what are you doing on this ship? I'm sure I read that your ballet company was performing in Shanghai at the moment.
I can't fool him. I have to tell him the truth and hope he doesn't tell anyone. I have no other choice.
I see. So you've run away.
Please keep my secret. Don't tell anyone.
Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here.
He's going to pull that cord. He's going to tell the captain. Why did I think I could trust him? Then it happened. Everything at once. It was only a second, but it felt like forever. Wait! I shouted, and then... Darko jumped out of my arms and down to the young man's feet. And... as he turned around to look at me, I pushed him. I don't even know why. I don't know why I did it. I was just so scared. And I had to stop him from telling anyone about me.
And that's when you went to fetch help? From Seaman Stroganoff, who was on duty out on the passageway? I heard Nina cry out and thud on floor, so I ran to her. She was standing at cabin door, shaking like leaf. She looked at me and said, "Help me, Biff. If they find out it will be, please, I have nowhere to go." So you decided to help. And that's when you arranged things in Kazuma's cabin to make it look like I did it. So that no one would suspect the passenger in the cabin next door. Yes. I went into cabin and I looked around to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there. And then I found Stowaway in wardrobe, still sleeping. Right, that's when he found me.
So you worked out a plan to lay the blame on the stowaway.
I closed wardrobe doors and put back strange paper signs. Luckily for me, that's the only reason Susato-san started to believe me when I said I was innocent. I dragged young man's body to a good place and used ink that was spilling to right on floor. I wrote garderobe so that person who found him would look inside wardrobe and find stowaway.
And tell me, what of the glass bell?
It was by my feet, so I picked it up.
I see.
But it was dark in the cabin. I didn't notice the other half.
Then Angel went back to her cabin and I finished job. By pressing the emergency alarm button in the passageway. Yes.
Accordingly, the SS Borea did indeed come to an emergency halt at a little after 2 a.m., thus enticing the bolt on the cabin door to slide shut, creating the locked room mystery.
There's still one thing I don't understand, Miss Pavlova.
What?
Well, you said that you told Kazuma about the fact that you'd run away from your homeland. And it's because you were worried he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him. Isn't that right?
Yes.
But even if he had pulled the bell cord and called for the captain... Sorry, guys. Called for the captain of the ship. Aren't you friends with every member of the crew? Why would that have been a problem?
It was what he said first that made me scared.
What he said first? What are you doing here at this time of the night, Inspector?
What are you doing?
Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he was a friend of mine.
He said an inspector was his friend.
Ah, yes, meaning me. Who was supposed to be acting as his bodyguard? I thought that
if police knew about me, they would arrest me. So before he could pull the bell cord, May I stop you a moment, please, Ms. Pavlova? It just doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, was Mr. Asuka really going to pull the bell cord? I don't know. What? What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, I'm not Kazuma, so I can't know for certain, but... he was a man of his word. If he told you he wouldn't give your secret away, then he wouldn't have done.
No, he was walking over to it. He was going to pull the cord. He was going to make them send me back.
Well, Mr. Naruhodo, the day's work is not yet done, it seems. There is one more deduction to make.
What? Another deduction?
Yes, what action was the victim really about to take at the moment?
Yeah, he was going to come to us.
Can we determine whether the young man's gaze was whither?
Okay, guys, I'm sorry, I don't know this word at all. Can we determine whether the
young man's gaze was directed?
It was not at the court.
First, consider the victim's location within his cabin.
That's easy, I remember every detail of that room. I mean, yes, I spent quite a lot of time in the wardrobe, but still. That cabin has been my home for this entire voyage.
So this is how the cabin looked last night when Miss Pavlova visited Kazuma-san.
Yes, it's exactly how it was.
Are you ready then, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, if there's one thing I've learned today, it's that a simple gaze can reveal all manner of truth. And not only that, in order to draw the right conclusion, you can't afford to be out by even a little bit when you're following the gaze to where it lands. So, when he turned away from Miss Pavlova, what exactly was Kazuma looking at? Yeah, at the wardrobe, of course. So, the wardrobe. What else can we look at? So we're gonna check out the bed first. His bed. I remember him being annoyed about the pillow. He said it was too thin. Didn't he put that big thick book of Japanese law underneath it, in fact? Perhaps he was thinking of looking something up. Either that, or talking to Miss Pavlova made him acutely tired. Oh, I got an achievement for that! Pillow perfectionist. Cool. Made him acutely tired. So the bell cord. The bell cord. So Miss Pavlova thought that he was just coldly ignoring her request and going to pull the cord. But the Kazuma I knew would never have done something like that. No, I'm sure of it. So it's not the ventilator. We already checked the bed. Nothing here. So it is the wardrobe. We're pretty sure, right? It must be the wardrobe. The wardrobe. My wardrobe. I wasn't there at the time, of course, sleeping soundly, too soundly. If only I hadn't eaten that chicken that was laced with the sleeping drug. If only it would woken me up. Then maybe this tragedy would never have happened. Yeah.
Take that!
Very, very unfortunate things that happened. Considering everything that had happened last night, certainly it may have looked as though Kazuma was going to ring the bell cord.
Yes, however, what is directly beside the bell cord? The wardrobe.
The wardrobe?
And more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe. The man's great friend, sleeping soundly.
Ah! Miss Pavlova, please think back very carefully. What were Mr. Asagi's exact words last night?
Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here.
Another opinion?
Yes, but not from a member of the crew. No, Mr. Asagi intended to consult his close friend on the matter. To see if between them they might be able to help in some way, no doubt.
Oh no! Sadly, we can't know the truth for certain now. It's too late for that. But I wish you had made sure of what Mr. Asagi was looking at. Things may have ended very differently if you had.
Miss Pavlova? I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. But unfortunately, the truth is a man lost his life because of what you did, and that will never change. I hope you'll never forget that.
I'm sorry. Really, I'm so sorry. What have I done?
And so, at long last, the mystery surrounding the tragic accident on the SS Boria was finally laid to rest. 9th January, 7:14 p.m. SS Boria, first class, cabin, passageway. What will happen to Miss Pavlova now then? Once we reach Great Britain, she'll be handed over to the British police at Scotland Yard. What about the fact that she ran away from Russia? Won't the Russians try to repatriate her? Apparently, the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort all of that out. Mr. Shons can do that? So she won't be going back to Russia then? No, I don't think so. Even if she wanted to return in the future, I doubt she would be able to. She ran away, so now she's in exile for life. I see. I'm sorry. Seaman Stroganoff? I wanted to help our angel, no matter what. But I didn't think about you, about who you lost, how you lost good friend. I will go with Nina. I will give myself to British police. That's kind of you. In the meantime, though, thank you for letting me go free again. Kazuma's death feels like such a waste, but... Well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you? Da! Well, I'm afraid you need to pack now. We're due to arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to hand you over to the council to arrange your passage back to Japan. Yes, I did stow away after all. I couldn't really expect any different. So, you should get back to your cabin now. It looks like my study tour to Great Britain is over before it's even begun then. To think that only days ago Kazuma and I were laughing together about how we'd tear up the streets of London. That seems like a distant memory now. Oh, what's that? Is it someone weeping? Susato-san.
Naruto-san, I didn't know you had returned.
Oh, well, I haven't been back long. Inspector Hosonaga just told me I should pack, ready to leave the ship tomorrow and all that.
I still can't believe this has happened. I can't believe someone's life can be over just like that.
Susato-san.
He had such grand ideas for this visit to Great Britain, so many dreams. And now they've been cruelly taken away, just as he has. I thought I could never forgive the person responsible. But now we know the truth. That it was just an accident. Just a silly series of mishaps. It's too much, Naruto-san. It's just too much.
Yes, I know. I wish there was something I could say.
Inspector.
My duty was to see Asogi-san safely to Great Britain. But I failed, and caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering as a result. I've let everyone down. And I will do anything to make up for my terrible blunder. Nobody blames you, Inspector. And I'm free again now, at least. Huh?
Surprise, Mr. Naruto!
What is the meaning of this?
Oh, a trifling matter. Simply that in my head, I think I shall always picture you wearing those shackles. Without them, the balance seems all wrong. It's distracting.
Sorry?
So I decided to restore them for all time's sake, shall we say you are a stowaway after all. Ha 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 ha!
He thinks this is funny?
Mr. Sholmes, we do appreciate all your assistance. I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Not at all, not at all, and though it's a little late, may I offer my sincere condolences? The loss of your companion is truly heartrending. I hope that you will be able to fulfill some of his aspirations in his honor.
I'm afraid that won't be possible. We shall be disembarking at the next port in Hong Kong. We have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that's happened. What? Wait a minute. It's just me that has to go back, isn't it? I mean, I was the stowaway. The terms of this study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. It was to be in one lawyer and one assistant. Was to be? I'm the light of Mr. Asugi's unfortunate death. In the light of Mr. Asugi's unfortunate death. I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. Oh no, I don't care for me, but... Poor Susato-san. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. Ah, okay, he was him.
All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue shortly.
But there is no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer.
Come on, Susato.
Qualifications, you say? Any qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value in Great Britain, I'm afraid.
Oh, but...
But anyway, the voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer.
Yes.
Miss Susato?
Yes?
Do you think perhaps I might be able to do it?
Ah!
But you're not a lawyer, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, unless... Are you studying law? No, I'm not, but... I'm sorry. In that case, I don't think there's even a chance it could work.
But as I said, there is still more than a month before we reach England's shores. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, I have a month in which to study, to learn what it must become a lawyer in Great Britain. Mr. Naruto...
That's ridiculous. Are you seriously suggesting anybody could learn all of that in just 40 days?
There's only one way to find out. I would work my fingers to the bone, Inspector, every single day. Will you let me try? And if, by the time we reach Great Britain, I haven't learned enough to be recognized as a lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate. But why put yourself in such a difficult position? For Kazuma, he said that there was something he had to do in Great Britain, and that he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. I can't let all that passion just come to nothing. And anyway, it's for my own benefit too.
I will become a lawyer. I have to. What do you say, Miss Susato?
I think it's a wonderful idea.
Thank you.
So, what does a be spectacled? Inspector friend say?
Are you serious?
One lawyer and one assistant. The numbers are indisputable.
No, it's madness.
Yet fascinating, wouldn't you agree?
Fascinating?
Duty and rules are the dull routine of existence that we all abhor. Give us interest, give us fascination.
Speak for yourself.
Besides, qualifications are no measure of a man. What matters is his character, no? And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes. From the early hours of this morning until this very moment now. Despite contending with the passing of his close companion and despite the accusations of guilt, this man has shown resourcefulness, intelligence, and above all, courage.
Very well. I'll think of a clever way to word my report to the Department of Justice. Inspector, after all, I did just make a promise, didn't I? I said that I'd do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings here.
Oh, thank you, Inspector.
If you'll excuse me, I must pay a visit to the captain's quarters, I think. I need to discuss what to do next and how best to make my report.
Are you really prepared to attempt this, Mr. Naruto?
Yes, I'm going to try. I wonder, would you consider teaching me what I need to know, everything about being a lawyer?
I would be delighted to help you. I am a judicial assistant after all.
Thank you.
And, Mr. Naruto, I'd like you to take charge of this.
What? Me? Are you sure?
I'm sure it's what Kazuma-sama would have wanted. Its name is Karuma. It's a great sword that's been in the Asugi clan for generations.
Very well. I accept it. I'll treasure it always. So then, Miss Susato, it seems we'll be working together for some time to come yet.
It will be an honor, Mr. Naruto. And for the next 40 days, I shan't grant you a single minute of freedom. You shall fill every spare moment with study.
Yes, that's exactly what I need.
But before we begin, I have an earnest favor to ask of you two.
Goodness, what is it?
Please throw me to the ground. 3 times.
What?
I should never have doubted you. You were Kazuma-sama's closest friend. Of course you would never have done anything to hurt him. That should have been obvious to me from the start. But I allowed suspicion to get the better of me. And no matter how upset I was feeling, it was completely unforgivable behavior.
No, you were in a shock. You just found out about me stowing away, and the cabin door was locked from the...
No! I won't let you make excuses for me. Whatever the circumstances, I should never have thrown you. And not just once, but 5 times!
That number keeps creeping up, doesn't it?
Please, you must. Just take hold of me and throw me, do it! Don't even think about it!
No, I don't know how. I've never thrown anyone in my life.
Very wise, Mr. Naruhodo. It isn't a skill one acquires without considerable training.
Oh, Mr. Sharps.
I observed your throwing technique several times with great interest. I confess I was most impressed.
When did he see that?
I presume that would be a form of Japanese wrestling?
Oh, well, in a way, it's not wrestling, but my own interpretation of an ancient jujutsu technique.
So she is like the inventor of judo? The very first judoka? Apparently it's called the Susato takedown. It leaves your head swimming, believe me.
How beguiling. I am a practitioner of the combative arts myself. I am somewhat accomplished boxer.
There he goes, dancing around again. I
wonder if you'd be so kind as to instruct me on the techniques of your arresting throw.
Yes, I'd be honored.
Then let us not dally. Demonstrate, my dear madam.
Oh, of course. Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo?
Sorry?
Yeah! As you can see, you throw from the abdomen.
Oh yes, arresting indeed. And that is what you term the Susato takedown, is it?
Actually, no, that was a Susato squash.
In my groggy state of consciousness, a scene from an evening recently spent with Kazuma flickered into my mind. Karuma. That's right, it's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asogi clan. I can't believe you managed to get permission to bring it with you. I mean, taking a katana on a study tour is more than a little irregular, surely. A Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. It can't be parted from a katana. Karuma guides me. I truly believe that. So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two. Not that you would need much compelling. On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain, and I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. That important thing you had to do, I still don't know what that was. But I'm going to see the place for myself and work it out. In Great Britain's capital, London. Whoa, well, that was a very long episode, guys. I'm sorry, I promised to keep it half an hour episodes, but I didn't wanna... I just wanted to play, so sorry for the long episode. I hope you had as much fun as I did with this episode. I'm going to save now, and I have to chew through the emotions that I went through with this whole thing that we just witnessed. I think the first case where we had to defend ourselves was a little bit draggy and stuff, but I think that this episode was very well done, and with the dance of deduction and how things fell into place and how we discovered the truth, that was really well done. And I hope that I can see you on the next episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. When we find out what the next episode is, I don't know, but I hope it's, even if it's half as great as this episode, it's going to be an awesome one. So stay tuned for the next episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles!